Yeah, Hansel and Gretel, I mean, I would say most people know the story, which is this story. But it was put to music by Engelbert Humperdinck, the late 19th century composer, not the mid-1970s pop star. That would be an interesting rendition in and of itself. But yeah, it's the story of these two rascally kids who leave their home, go into the woods, eat a gingerbread house, have to flee a witch trying to eat them. You know, that old trope. But it's some pretty beautiful music setting this story in a place that we know, but in a way that is really different to listen to, I think. In terms of the principal performers, we have a lot of people who are master's graduates from the U of M opera program, and some others. We have people who are teachers at the U of M who are performing some of the parts, and we have some kids who are in the chorus who are like, I think the youngest is 7. So I think, yeah, genealogically we cover a really broad spectrum, or maybe not genealogically, but chronologically we cover a large spectrum of people. I mean, is it a kids show? I think it's a show that's very accessible to children in that it is based on a fairy tale. We're not dealing with like the dialogue of the Carmelites as an opera or something like that. But at the same time, Engelbert Humperdinck didn't write it to be a touring children's show. He wrote it to use the story of a fairy tale to set music to. So I think that it is very lighthearted in parts, and it is real in parts, and it's, I guess, a bit heavy in parts, but I think ultimately it's all existent in the world that these people inhabit. And we have said it very traditionally in the German dark forest. I don't think there was any intentional or any real call to do like Hansel and Gretel in space or something like that, right? So we were I think we really all agreed that setting this thing where everybody would recognize is almost like another character in the story. You've got the Lederhosen, and you've got the Dirndls and stuff like that, and the witch. The kids who are in the chorus, there's a children's chorus in this production, and they come in at the end as children that have previously been enslaved by the witch or turned into gingerbread by the witch. And so, spoiler alert, the witch doesn't survive till the end of the story. So with the witch's demise, Hansel and Gretel now are able to free the children, and that's where the children's chorus comes in. Spencer Duncanson, the artistic director of Little Opera Company, had been working with an outreach program that has a choir that's composed of children from a variety of inner city schools. So these kids have come to this experience of performing in a choir pretty uniquely. In terms of, I think, the overall structure of the play, I think it's a really cool feature to have, I mean, just purely artistically, using the quality of children's voices in a chorus is a really unique element to bring into the piece, because you can have solos, arias, and you can have duets, and there's some trios, there's quartets in this piece. I think that's about as big as it gets. But when you're able to incorporate like an almost heavenly chorus of children who are pretty great at their music, like, it adds an entirely new dimension not only to the narrative, but like musically and within the larger piece. So I think that is artistically why it's really important. In terms of their own individual experiences, I think you probably have about as many answers as you have kids.
With your foot you tap, tap, tap. With